Let's look at 3 outstanding techniques that both Overmono and Fred Again use in almost all of their releases. Unlike most of my tutorials, I'm not going to dive into how this track was created, but if you do want to download the project and check it out for yourself, you can grab the Frozen project and the stems over at the Patreon. Straight off the bat, tighten up your drums. There's such an attention to detail when it comes to Overmono and Fred Again's drum design. Of course, there's things like ghost notes and there's a swung groove applied. But I think the magic occurs in its tight staccato sound. These are mostly UKG one-shots, but as you can see, everything has a transient gate applied, meaning that they're trimmed much shorter than their original source material. This allows for your track to have plenty of space for melodic moments, despite perhaps having a busy percussive section. It will also ensure that your drums sound super snappy. Next up, noise. Noise is used in such a creative way in multiple areas of their tracks. Today, we're using Stay In It as an example, and as you can hear in the early version of the track heard in their Lot Radio set, there's plenty of noise in the drums. So how is this being achieved in the spaces between perks and snares? So use a follower like Shaperbox or the free follower device in Ableton or even a sidechain. You can send your drum signal to a noise source. For ease, I'm using Cable Guy's Shaperbox 3 today, and it's been made a lot more easy for me. It's automatically ducked until there's some silence in the track, or if you want to be more precise, you can draw the noise, kind of like I have here, into those sections of silence. This adds a new rhythmic layer to your drums, but also kind of lifts it out of the mix slightly. To give a more dirty sound and help transition it into new sections, I'm also bit crushing these drums towards the end of 4 bars. It creates like a nice dynamic change and also makes the drums sound a little darker and gritty before the following downbeat of the first new bar. Noise doesn't just have to be added to drums though, it's often used in basses to give the illusion that the sound is kind of distorting through its loudness. This can be heard in other UK based tracks like Flight FM by Joy Orbison. A really easy way to do this is just add the vocoder. With the vocoder you can dial in the activity and brightness of your noise and then use the dry wet to assign just how much of the noise you want to be present. I start to roll in the noise towards the end of this long bass note so it gives the illusion that the bass is becoming more aggressively loud over time. And to go back to drums, you can use the vocoder as a mixing tool as well. These 16th note hi-hats are too bright and a little bit too staccato in the mix, but applying some vocoder allows them to sit more tastefully amongst the percussion. Finally, use a tremolo. Fred Again and Overmono's most successful work is often quite simple, but they utilize a bunch of different styles of resampling and processing to generate interest over a long period of time. Perhaps this is a topic that I should cover in a future episode. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that. One of the tools that is used often to generate excitement is the tremolo. In Ableton, I'll be using the auto pan, but in your DAW, you could use a tremolo device, a pan, or the LFO tool. Here I've applied the auto pan to the respace to add rhythmic bounce towards the end of a bar line. Using the auto pan at 360 phase ensures that I'll get a mono signal rather than a pan signal. So you'll hear a sound that feels like it's opening and closing again. The auto pan is also applied once again here to hide the stuttered part of the synth. This is a technique that's becoming way more prominent in pop music to give the effect like the vocal is distorting below a bass signal. For an even better example, check out Billie Eilish Flutter Effects or the song Problem by William Crooks. Terrific examples of this kind of LFO effect on a vocal. Here, we're manipulating the signal of the synth to give more excitement. Here it is with and without. So what do you think of these 3 techniques? Will you be using them inside your music? let me know in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos. I must mention that this episode is sponsored by DistroKid, and there's 4 different ways that you can promote your music, which will surely show your music to a wider audience. There's Wheel of Playlist and Playlist Spotlight, which will ensure your music is added to DistroKid's own playlists. You have Slaps.com, a music social network where you can gain feedback for higher engagement. And my personal favorite is the new Playlister tab, which helps you connect to playlists on Spotify, which is run by real people, so you don't have to worry about those pesky botted posts. If you want 7% off your first year and to support the show, use the link in the description below.